Thank you, Zafrullah. Good evening. I'm humbled, and it's an absolute honor and a pleasure to address this august gathering, and of course my fellow panelist. Zafar was very kind when he said we were amongst the earliest. We are the oldest. So we've been with the foundation for donkey years now. I can't imagine not being associated with it. But the best part is that I was identified by the foundation because I participated in a meeting somewhere. I was immediately picked up to go to Sri Lanka, and subsequently there has been no looking back. They would just not let me go. So I keep coming back, and the family keeps growing, and it's amazing. I've been asked to speak on education and social behaviors today. You see, like I said, when I became a part of the foundation, I was young. What attracted me was the fun that came with these meetings, the traveling that came with being the part of the foundation, all of that. But gradually over the years, I've realized that what foundation has done for me is that it has completely transformed my perspective about how I see things around me and also how I see things in Pakistan. And I'm absolutely convinced how critical all of this is for this country. You see, when we talk about social and education learning, I don't think it can be compartmentalized. We have consistently over the years, perhaps since the times of Zia, have deliberalized our curricula and the society. And we've also misconcocted the whole concept of what liberalism is. And every time that I went to Germany, which was actually thrice, my trainings were in liberal and political values. And ladies and gentlemen, I am more convinced of them today than I ever was, especially because of the challenges this country faces today. So when I look at issues of rule of law, or when I look at issues of democracy, and you see, we've been lucky to now have uninterrupted democratic process going on. And then I keep wondering if democracy is enough. And perhaps we should be looking at liberal democracy, which is not the majority which is not the tyranny of the majority, which is inclusive, which is conscious of the rights of the minorities, which encompasses more than just majority rule and elections. And that is what liberal values educate you about. And then, of course, accountability and transparency, and how the lack of these two have now started haunting us in ways which is not even comprehensible. Because they haunt every aspect of our life. The minister just spoke about education. It's everywhere. It's education, it's healthcare, it's you name it. And then when I also pause, because I'm also associated with education, and I pause back and I think that Pakistan is one of the youngest countries in the world. And is our youth bulge an asset, or are we turning it into a ticking bomb? And that's what actually scares me. And that is why I think that we need to rethink, and we need to rethink really hard. International forums say that we're one of the most unsafe countries in the world, most unsafe countries in the world for journalists. But even more important is the fact that I am amazed that the government thinks that it can actually regularize this and control this. Because we also spoke this morning about digitalization, and monopoly on information is not an option, it's not a choice. And this is not something new, by the way. This was something that Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah very categorically stated. And we chose to selectively ignore it for years and years. And once again, if I proudly point out, the foundation picked up that speech, translated it into several languages, and disseminated it. And it is an important discussion today. And if we don't do a rethink now, it is going to be too late. None of us are against religion. We are 98% Muslims. But this politics of exclusivity is self-defeating and self-damaging. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, all of you here need to understand that you've been given the exposure to understand these concepts more than others. And you cannot give up on your duty to be the multipliers. Take this message forward. Speak to people about it. Prevent this from becoming a situation where it will become irreversible, because that is what is happening. The accommodations that we are doing today are going to haunt us for years to come, and a reversal would be very, very hard. Some groups have been emboldened because of the takeover of the Taliban in the neighboring country. We need to be very, very cautious and draw our own red lines so that we crawl up and don't crawl down. And that is where every single educationist and social activist has to play a role. And you people have a special role because you understand these values more than others. Thank you so much for your time and attention.